Hello, everybody. You're very welcome to another episode of. You're very welcome to another episode of Waking Up to Your True Potential. My name is Laura Renankowski, and I'm an international life and relationship coach. And I coach in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. I'm very happy to have my guest today. My guest today is Fidelma Greene. And Fidelma is a business consultant and coach, and she works with purpose-driven leaders who are feeling stuck and who desire to reignite their passion and reclaim their joy, bringing their ideas into reality. So that's a great purpose and great coaching style to have. So myself and Fidelma, we met because we were in the same coaching mastermind group, and this was several years ago, and we've kept in touch. Over the years. And another thing that connects both of us is that we're both breast cancer survivors. So breast cancer is something that affects 1 in 9 women. 1 in 9 women will develop breast cancer in Ireland, according to Breast Cancer Ireland. And worldwide, 2.3 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020, according to breast cancer statistics worldwide. So breast cancer is something, that affects so many women worldwide. And it's something, that's affected, myself and Fidelma. And today is the 1st of October, and it's the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that's why I wanted to do this special interview with Fidelma, because we want to help and inspire anybody that's going through a breast cancer journey right now. It's a very difficult and challenging journey to go through. And we're on the other side. We're survivors. So that's why we wanted to share our story here today, to help and inspire anybody that's going through that journey, or anybody that will go through that journey in the future. So you're very welcome, Fidelma. It's so nice to see you today.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here with you, Laura, today, and I'm delighted to be able to share on this topic because it's so important to talk about breast cancer.
Yes, it really is. It really is, and both of us have had our journeys. Every journey is different. Every journey is individual, but every journey is definitely challenging. I mean, it's a very challenging journey to go through, And can you tell me a little bit more about your own journey?
Okay, my journey started in December 2020. And I went at the end of November, I went for my regular mammogram, and then I got my letter in the post 2 weeks later to come back for it was a follow-up call. So when I read it initially, I kind of went, oh, that must be a mistake, because I've had my mammogram and maybe they've sent me out another letter. And then I rang them and they said, no, they wanted to see me. So that kind of set off a few alarm bells. And so I went to my appointment the following week, trying not to overthink it before I went there. And when I went, they did some scans, and they did another mammogram. And while they were doing those, they told me they found some what looked like cancer. They didn't actually use that word, actually, though. They said they had to do tests, they had to do biopsies. Okay, yeah, so that was the start of it. But I didn't actually think I was going to be having biopsies when I went in that day. I thought they were just having, going to follow up with some scans.
Yeah.
So they said they would be in touch, and the following week then I met with the consultant. So it all happened quite fast. You don't get a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah.
So it's 1 week, you're doing a mammogram. Next week, you're getting a call back letter 2 weeks after. And then I'm even having my biopsies. And then you're in the following week, and I was meeting the surgeon. So he did tell me that they had found early stage breast cancer, which was, of course, a shock to me. I'm sitting there looking at him.
Yeah. It's such a surreal moment, right? Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Yeah.
So then, because of the pandemic as well, when he started explaining to me about the surgery, he says, we can either do it next Monday, which was the 21st of December. Remember, now we're a week from Christmas.
Yeah.
And we have 3 young children.
Yeah.
And or you could wait till after Christmas. So he says, it's your choice.
Wow.
And this was after he had explained about what they had found and what he was proposing for me. So my choice was with me, and my husband was with me, and I was looking over at him, and then I said, I will go for next Monday. Let's do this. I can't wait
Like
all
right
over
away.
Christmas.
You didn't want to wait, right? Yeah.
Especially over Christmas, thinking about it the whole time.
Exactly.
So that's what happened. And because of the pandemic, I had to go in, but my husband dropped me at the surgery at 7:00 in the morning, that Monday morning, the 21st. And I went in and had my surgery that day.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm not going to go into the details of the surgery, but it was like I had to go back down, and they had to be very conscious where they were doing the surgery based on the scans they already had done. So they had to measure that up again. So I had to go back in. I had to get, I won't go into all of the detail, but anyway, I had the surgery and I got out that evening.
Okay.
So
you got out right away. Okay.
Yeah, I did get out right away. Yeah, it was about 6:00 when I was going home.
Wow.
So I mean, I took it really easy for over Christmas. I didn't have a choice. I was
you were recovering.
Yeah, I was recovering from surgery.
Yeah.
And they took one of my lymph nodes as well.
The lymph nodes, yeah.
So to check it, all right, even though they had said it was very early stage.
Yeah, they always do that. They always like take the lymph nodes because they have to check if it's spread or not. They did, yeah.
And they have to be careful around the margins of where they've done the scan and everything.
Exactly.
So then we had to wait until the middle of January for the results of that. So when I went back to him, he said it was good news that it was everything was got. He was happy that he had removed it all.
Wow.
And that my lymph nodes were clear. It was clear. So that was really good news.
Really good news,
and, Yeah. So then he said he was still I had to still meet the oncologist, and that I definitely would be having radiotherapy.
Okay.
Because my type of cancer was triple negative cancer.
Wow.
It's not hormone related cancer. Mine is triple negative.
Okay.
So I mean, I haven't done Google on it. I looked a little bit about it, and I said, I'm not going to investigate this because I'm trusting the professionals. Because Google sometimes can drive you insane.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I was trying to stay as much grounded as I could be, especially during Christmas with our family.
Of course.
Like I remember the day I came home with my husband, and we had to tell our children, and that was 2 weeks before Christmas. And we had to sit them down, and our Christmas tree was up, and sitting down and telling them that Mom has breast cancer and that I'm having surgery next week. And trying to minimize it, that it was early stage, but they were just in pieces. Like I feel it. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, of course. No, I know. Take your time.
Yeah. So I tried to be strong for them, which I was, and they had their emotion and they expressed it. And then after that, then they were, because I was okay, I tried to take a very, very much living one day at a time.
Yes.
And not getting into the anxiety of what was going to happen after Christmas, what was the results going to be, so each appointment I went to, I tried to stay in the day, practice what I taught, practice what I teach, to really be present as much as possible.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point, Fidelma, right there, because that's something, that I experienced as well, and that I was living as well, because it's extremely overwhelming to, first of all, get diagnosed, and then, have all the surgeries, and then you're waiting for the results and all of that, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that the best way to go through something like that is that you literally take it like day by day, process by process, step by step, because I've been contacted, by other people, that are going through it. And then that's one of the things that I always say, take it day by day, diagnosis by diagnosis, procedure by procedure, because if you think about all of it, it's so incredibly overwhelming. Like all of it is so overwhelming that if you start thinking about, oh my God, what's going to happen, and all of this, you'll just drive yourself crazy, right? So the best thing is to take it day by day, step by step, procedure by procedure, diagnosis by diagnosis, right? So that's exactly what you did as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So what unfolded was that my oncologist recommended that I get 4 sessions of chemo.
Okay.
And then I knew I was getting 4 weeks of radiotherapy. So,
Okay.
so the chemo was started in the middle of February, and that went on till the middle of April. So thank God, you know what? I'm so grateful. I got through the chemo very, very well.
Okay.
I wasn't physically sick at all.
Wow.
I did obviously lose my hair, which is growing back now.
Yes.
I decided not to wear my wig today,
Okay.
because I'm starting to be visible without my wig now. I went out on
Yeah.
Saturday for a cup of coffee to Malahide, and I went without my wig. So
Yeah.
I've been visible all through my journey on
You
social
have.
media.
You
Yeah.
have.
So
Yeah.
when I think of it, the day that I went live on social media about it was the day that I got my head shaved.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they told me that I was going to lose my hair, and I was saying to the nurses, maybe I won't, maybe I'll be an exception because I'm only getting 4 sessions. She says, no, you will lose your hair after that.
Right. Yeah.
And it just started to come out in chunks then, my hair,
Right. Right.
after the
Yeah.
first chemo.
That's really difficult too.
It is. So I decided I'm taking the lead on this. I'm going to get my head shaved, because I had
Okay.
rang the lady in Malahide, and she says, yeah, you could either wait till it falls out gradually, or you can come and get it shaved.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
sat with that for a few days, and I said, I prefer to have it shaved rather than the
Yeah.
distress
Then
of it
just.
falling out
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
shower every
Yeah.
day and the
Yeah.
mess. So and the lady was lovely as well. She was local in Malahide, and I went and I got my head shaved, and it was a strange experience, because, to be honest, when I was younger, I used to say, God, I'd love to get my head shaved. And
Now
then
you got your chance.
I know, yeah. So to be like Sinead O'Connor, like, having my
Yeah.
head
Yeah.
shaved.
Sinead
So there I
O'Connor.
was in the
Yeah.
hairdressers, all my hair in a bundle on the ground. But because of the pandemic, my hair had gone a strange colour anyway. So I wasn't really sad to see it gone,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I was kind of looking at it saying, oh my God, look at the colour of it. But anyway, I got through my chemo really well. And I
Right.
have to say, obviously, the few days after the chemo, I was on steroids. And when I came off the steroids, I had to get an injection then as well into my tummy to help me with building up my cells again.
Right.
So that was a regular thing. But once you get used to the routine that goes with the chemo, it's
Yeah.
like then you know what to expect. So the first one,
Right.
I was anxious. My body was anxious. Because I didn't know what was happening to me. I'd
Yeah.
seen it on Breaking Bad about the guy getting the chemo, but I'd never actually thought
Yeah.
what was actually going to happen to me.
Exactly.
So, like, the nurses are so good to you, and the medical staff
Yeah.
are so supportive.
Yes. That makes such a huge difference, doesn't it? Like to
It
have like
does.
nice doctors and nice nurses when you're going through something like that makes a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I coped pretty well with the chemo. And I suppose I was very lucky. I only needed 4.
Okay.
So it was the waiting every 3 weeks to kind of
R-
get it. You knew it was coming. But
right.
and then it started to build up in my body. So I was getting a
Okay.
bit more tired and a bit more just I knew it was building up in me.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I'm grateful that I did get through it so well, though. That I wasn't physically sick at all.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Because everybody reacts differently, right?
yeah, they
And you
do.
just never know how you're going to react until you're actually in it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And my taste didn't really change. I was still eating
Okay.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Because some people lose weight. I did put on
Yeah.
some weight because I was eating maybe a bit more chocolatey things in the evening, and that, I'd have
Right.
an ice cream every evening to cool me down, because I used to get hot flushes. And I'm
Okay.
past my menopause now, but the
Right.
chemo would make me red in the evening. The first evening it happened, I didn't know what was happening. I ended up having to ring the hospital. It was
Okay.
like, what's happened to me? I'm all red. And they said, no, that's normal. Just it'll calm down. Once your temperature doesn't spike, you'll be fine. So it
Yeah.
passed. So
Okay.
then you see, for the subsequent chemos, I didn't panic with those things because I knew what to expect.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it makes a difference, right? When you
It
know what
does.
to expect, because it's that uncertainty which is
Yeah.
so difficult, in the breast cancer journey, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, that uncertainty I would say is one of the most difficult aspects of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I had a break in between that for a few weeks, and then the radiotherapy started, and we had that cyber attack in Ireland on the system, so that delayed it for a few days. But thank God I didn't get delayed for a long time on my radiotherapy.
Great.
So I drove myself to it every day. So some people react differently.
Yes.
But I was happy to get into my car and drive, because it was only 20 minutes away from the house in Beaumont.
Okay.
From Swords here. So I drove every day, and I mean, they told me what to do, to add creams into my breast to make sure that the skin wasn't drying up. So I was doing that 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
And drinking loads of water. And so there aren't major side effects. Well, I didn't have major side effects. Everybody reacts differently. So I can't. Yeah, I can only speak for myself, my own journey.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. I mean, you went through, so much, with the chemo and the radiotherapy. In my case, like I was lucky because I didn't need chemo and radiotherapy. But it's funny because my journey was a lot longer. Like my process was a lot longer. But then I didn't need the chemo and the radiotherapy. So that's why, every journey is so different. Every journey is so different.
Yeah, and they recommend not to compare yourself to any other woman.
Yes.
To really just focus on your own journey.
Focus on your own journey, definitely. I definitely agree with that. And what would you say, like when you think back, right? When you think back on your whole journey that you've been through, what would you say were the key things that you learned along the way? Like what were those key insights or key learnings from this?
Not to be scared. The word cancer before would have scared me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've changed. Obviously, I've come through the process. So changing that, it doesn't have to be scary. Like really a lot of fear. If you can manage yourself and your energy and your emotions, and I know everybody's different, but I suppose I had a lot of support around me as well. And because of the work that I'm in, coaching and personal development, I've done a lot of work on myself to help to be more grounded and to manage myself. Especially in the last year or two, I'm learning more how to manage my energy as an empath and as a highly sensitive leader.
Yes.
So it's really important, just for if women out there, they may not know what I'm talking about, empath, and it's just some women or some people are more sensitive.
Yes.
And because of that, I've been doing a lot of internal and personal development work around that. So I think that helped Laura an awful lot. My mindset helped me an awful lot to stay positive, and to stay focused, and to stay in the day, and not to be in the fear of cancer, of what's going to happen to me next year, what's going to happen down the road. Exactly. Live my life now in the moment.
Yes, and I relate to that so much, because one thing that I always say, and I lived it on a completely different level, is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And, now I'm, stronger than ever. And then another thing also is that, in a strange way, when I went through my breast cancer journey, it kind of brought me back to life in a way, right? It kind of brought me back to life because it puts things into perspective, right? It really puts things into perspective. And, I was, I was going through a challenging moment, like, an emotional challenging moment, right? And actually getting sick brought me back, right? Getting sick, reminded me that, what, life is too short. Life is too short to, to be sad over some kind of loss, right? So now, now it's like I live, life to the fullest, like every moment. Like I take, I find joy in everything, in the smallest little silly things I find joy in, and that's what makes a difference. That's what makes a difference in life, your mindset and what you focus on, right?
Yeah. And what I observed during my journey is that I was leading myself and my family through this process. To the best. And my goal was my health and my recovery.
Yes.
So I was focused on that rather than the fear. So it's just, and it's easy to say that, but that's what I was doing. And as you said, I was looking for the simple pleasures. Like I walked every day during my treatment, during my chemo, during my radiotherapy, even whether it was raining or not, I went out for a walk with the dog. Except maybe on day 3 when I came off my steroids after the chemo, there was 1 or 2 days I was a bit wobbly that I may not have got out for a walk, but otherwise I was walking 20 minutes.
Okay.
every
Yeah.
day.
Great.
And
Yeah.
that kept me sane, getting that fresh air, getting
Yeah.
out in nature, and just not letting it stop me from moving. Because
Exactly.
I wasn't, when you have cancer, you're not actually sick, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah. No, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah. You can still do things.
I
Yeah.
still do
Exactly.
things like,
It's not like you have to be bedridden.
no. And I thought
Yeah.
I would be. Obviously, I did rest a lot
Of
more, and I
course.
did
Yeah.
have
You do. Yeah.
naps. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I suppose leading myself through it, that's what I learned. And I wrote a blog about it, and you can find that on fidelmagreene.com, how cancer
Okay.
helped me to be a better leader. And I
Okay.
wrote that in the middle of my treatment. It just came out of me after.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's great. That's great. And how would you say, that this journey has impacted your coaching?
it's a bit like you. I'm really embracing my purpose now. I'm
Right?
really,
Yeah. Embrace your purpose. Yes.
yeah, and really showing up and being visible. Part of me being visible here, talking about breast cancer,
Yeah.
and even being visible on social media. I want to inspire women and men as well to understand it's not something to be brushed under the carpet. It's not something to hide. Like, not
Yeah.
everybody will go out on social media and talk about it. That's okay.
Yes.
Everybody has their own choice
Yeah. It's
about
a it's a
how,
personal choice.
personal
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But my choice, and I was guided by my own intuition to share my journey.
Right.
And I kind of like speaking anyway, and I like sharing.
Yeah.
So it just came naturally to me. So it's to inspire, to motivate, and to help people to change their attitude towards cancer.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. I understand that. I understand
Yeah.
that very
So it's made me
very
stronger
well.
as well. It's made me,
Oh yeah. It definitely makes you stronger, huh?
yeah.
Yes.
Even though I was already strong, I'm a
Yeah,
strong mum.
but then you become strong on a whole different level, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah, exactly. You're introduced to strength on a whole different level. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, I had no
Yeah.
idea I could be this strong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
and and I think also when you go through something like this, it really puts things into perspective, and it really puts life into perspective,
It
right?
does.
So it's like those little things that used to bother you a lot before, like now they're
No,
so
yeah.
they're so ridiculous you don't even
Yeah.
like notice them, right? Like
Yeah.
one thing that I've seen in my own life is that I recover and I bounce back a lot faster than before, right? Something
Yeah.
that would have like really upset me and kept me down for days before, like I'm like, there's no time. There's no
Yeah.
time to be upset about
This
this.
is not a priority. Let's focus on what
Exactly.
I want
Yeah,
to do and to create it
exactly.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, you fall down, but then you get up again right away. There's no
Yeah.
time. Yeah. So that's a very, that's a very like positive, right? That's a
Yeah.
positive impact from going through, something like this. You really see the importance of time, right?
Yeah.
And like how that it is limited as well, and that you never know what can happen. You never know what
No.
can happen tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so you really have to take advantage of the time that you have
Yeah.
now, and make a difference in your own life, and make a
And with
difference
others.
out in the world.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really, tuned into that now. So yeah. And when we talk about surviving and thriving after breast cancer, how are you thriving now after breast cancer?
I suppose my focus for 6 months was on the treatment. And then I was kind
Yes.
of going, oh my God, now I need to get a new focus. So
Yeah.
out of the blue, I decided to do a 30-day fitness challenge to help me to
Nice.
kind of just get my energy built up a little bit and to lose. I put on about probably a stone and a half
Right.
because the chemo puts on extra fluid and it puts
Yeah.
on weight. It just, some chemos do that.
Yeah.
So I started that. I'm on day 15 now.
Okay.
But I'm not, it's not like a mission to get super fit. It's just building up my energy or my exercise levels gradually
Yeah.
and tuning into my body. Like, what does it need today? Does it need a walk? Am I going to do some qigong? Am I going to do some, I've started to jog. Not really fast now, Laura. I mean, I'm doing a 20-minute jog down to the park and back up and around the field a few times because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
lucky we have fields beside us here.
That's great.
So, but and because we have a dog as well, I have a reason to get out walking every day. So if it's
Exactly.
not
A
a
dog is
jog,
great like that.
it
Yeah.
is, yeah. So that's what I'm focusing on. That's how I'm thriving. And because of that, I've got energized with my work, looking at new opportunities with my consulting and coaching, because I coach both with women and on projects as well. So I'm just looking at new opportunities and ways that I can make a difference.
Great. That, all of
And
that,
and I think the resilience that I've found in myself through this journey has encouraged me to actually share this, because other people, to teach it and to help other people to be able to get through this pandemic, especially if they've lost their passion and it's so, and lost their joy because of the pandemic, because the way
so many people have. I mean, one of the reasons that I started this series of waking up to your true potential is to help people, right? To help people right now, because there's so many people that are so lost and confused and divided. I mean, the situation of the world right now is a little chaotic. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of division, right? So what I aim to do with this series is to give people information and to inspire them and to help them right now. That's well, thank you so much for sharing your journey, Fidelma. And how can people get in touch with you?
You can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page called Fidelma Greene and Business Consultant. You'll find that. You can find me on Instagram at Fidelma Greene. And you can also find me on my website, fidelmagreene.com. That's where my blog is. You'll find that blog about how cancer helped me to be a better leader. And if you're interested in finding about my work, you can apply for a complimentary business clarity call, where I'll help you to explore where you might be feeling stuck in your business or life. And I will help you to get clarity on that and to reignite your passion, and so that you can actually bring your ideas into reality and make that difference.
That's great. That's great.
The tagline on the link for that is fidelmagreene.com .as.me business clarity call. Okay.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Fidelma, for being here today and sharing your breast cancer surviving and thriving, story. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. I hope that that you get inspired and you got more information about this journey. If you're going through the breast cancer journey now, I hope that you stay strong and resilient, and remember to take everything day by day. Don't try not to get overwhelmed with the process. I know that it can be extremely overwhelming, but just take it day by day, diagnosis by diagnosis, and everything will work out. So and to anybody that gets diagnosed in the future, just remember that it is a journey, it is a process, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And once you go through that journey, you'll be so strong. You'll be so strong at the end of it, and then it gives you even like a bigger impetus, a bigger like impulse and bigger energy, to really go after your dreams and your ambitions, and really make a difference in this life, right? Like make a difference in your own life, and make a difference in in the world at large. So so don't forget to subscribe and give me some comments and likes. And remember that I post a new interview every Friday. Every Friday I post an interview where I interview amazing people around the world with amazing knowledge and insights to share. And don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, and you can email me at lauracoaching@gmail.com, and my website is laurabritangoski.com. So for now, bright lights, stay well, stay happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.